Welcome, hockey fans, to the second day of the PAC8 Showcase Tournament. If it was like anything like yesterday, there should be some very exciting games tonight. My name is Gary Allen, waiting for Tyler Pistani to come up and join me with a play-by-play. Today's first contest will be University of California, San Diego against WSU Cougars. And it was a spirited battle for both these teams last night, with WSU losing to Utah and UCSD losing to the Eagles. Tritons has the puck, kicked it in, they lost it. The Cougars has it. That was Roach that passed it up to Landers. Landers did a quick little shot there. The Tritons in, the Cougars in. Quick little pass over deep in the corner. Got Jake Hall that kicked it back out, missed his player, and the Cougars shot it down into the Tritons end. Tritons trying to bring it up, push it on the near boards. Tritons coming on the near boards, breaking in, takes a quick shot off the side of the net. Nice job by Daniel Grabner. We're trying to finalize the roster, so that's why there are pauses there, because we don't have the full roster up here yet in the booth. Cougars are attacking right now. We got Jens had the puck, did a quick little shot on top of the netminder. We had a strong game yesterday against the Eagles. Here's my sidekick. How are you, Blaine? How you doing today? You just missed it, didn't you?
I know.
You're just enjoying this broadcasting.
I know. I'm slacking today. Only 2 minutes behind schedule.
That's all right. I thought Tyler was coming up here, so I don't know. So
Tyler Pisani, the dog trainer, will be calling the next game. So I hope he's listening to our stream right now. So he's going to be coming off of the IR as he because he was unable to broadcast last night.
Well, it's good having you join me again here today for the second day of this PAC8 showcase.
Absolutely. My pleasure. As we were talking goaltenders yesterday, and we got two newbies in the net tonight. And Alex Chen for UCSD, as well as Sean Winranta for WSU.
I was wondering who was in net for the Tritons. I couldn't tell. I knew Kane Paxton wasn't in the net for WSU.
Yep, Kane Paxton is a healthy scratch tonight. And
well-deserved, too.
After last night. And it looks like Dietra did not even dress tonight either. So Dietra was also he did take that shot last night towards the end of the third period.
He had a heck of a game against the Eagles yesterday.
So a little bit of a different set of circumstances tonight. Gary, we saw both teams yesterday. What do you want to kind of see in this one?
Well, I think UCSD, they're going to have to try to figure out how to slow down the Cougars. The Cougars did a nice job against Utah yesterday using some of their speed. It'll be interesting because of this goalie, so I don't know if the Cougars will take as many chances. But if WSU, I would just stick to the game plan they had yesterday. They actually played an outstanding game.
And the one thing that we noticed for the Tritons was they kind of started to run out of gas, being shorthanded about midway through the second period. What would you make the suggestion, especially with they had the third? We're doing really quick shifts on yesterday.
Well, they were doing that and staying out of the penalty box. That'll help them tremendously because they're down players, which they're going in the box right now. I think that's
Nate Seekins is heading back in.
I think they're going to get him for a trip, but It'll be interesting to see if WSU takes the style of Eastern. Eastern used the body early on him and quick shifts on him to try to wear him down, and you saw that in the third period. So it'll be interesting if the Cougars use that same tactics.
Because that was an adjustment the Cougars made even in their late in the second period and in the third period against Utah, was to try and utilize some physicality. Saved there by Chen. As it swung around to Landers. Landers had a rocket yesterday.
Landers had a tremendous game yesterday.
As Wazoo brings it back out into neutral's ice as they reload on the power play. About a minute and a half left. As UCSD makes a change here. Landers coming back in once again. Blasted in front. Pad saved by Chen. And UCSD is able to clear.
Landers, for his size, he's deceptively quick. And if you're not paying attention to him, he will skate right around you.
He has some quickness, but he also has that sense of being like a bruiser, something that's like likes to intimidate and lay down a couple of hits as well.
Yeah, he's not shy on the body contact. It's just I'm very, very impressed with his speed.
And having the C on his chance, definitely the Cougars follow his lead. When his motor's going, they feed off of him for sure. Just about 30 seconds left on the penalty kill for the Tritons.
But I do notice one difference. WSU's not using their speed like they tried last night. They're playing more of a defensive style, which is interesting that they went to this game.
Looks like we have another penalty here. Looks like Wazoo's going into the box.
Well, the way Jens is pleading his case, I think it's him that's going in the box.
And it is Logan Jens. So a little bit of a 4v4 here for about 15 seconds. And the Tritons with an early opportunity on the power play potentially.
Well, we talked about the Tritons yesterday. They were impressive for having so few practices coming into the showcase. They performed well yesterday. And but they look like they're more of a defensive style game to start this than they did against Eastern yesterday. So both teams are taking that format right now.
And just early on, just about 5 minutes underway, is that the Tritons are sticking to the game plan that they utilized yesterday. And that was kind of weathering the storm early on and utilizing their quickness when they got their opportunities. And they were, against the Eagles, they were extremely threatening on the 4v4s when the ice started to open up, as they're now on the power play. Glove side by Chet there as the Tritons come back down. Seekins glides ahead. Wrister across the face, deflected wide. Seekins reloads, continues the probe, deflected out of play.
I know one thing, if WSU watched any of the tape of the Eagles and UCSD yesterday, they can't take this team for granted because they played a solid 2.5 periods. They just wore out. And so WSU has to be real conscious of this team.
Right. Just about a minute, a little over a minute remaining. Pad save there as Chua gets another shot, and another shot by Chua from the top near the blue line, and he was absolutely outstanding yesterday as well.
He was incredible yesterday. He was all over the ice. I don't know if he took a break at all. I really don't. We kept saying his name the whole game.
And if he did, it was a very short breather.
Yeah, I think we got his name one time. He had a penalty, and I think that was his longest break yesterday.
Yeah, and he had the opener as well for the Tritons. The Seekins comes back in. As they continue to probe. Seekins looking for his shot really early on today for the Tritons. Already had at least 4 or 5 shots just in the last couple of minutes alone. Rebound in front. Pad save once again by Warranta. And we got a penalty here.
And an interference call on that one. That's pretty that was a close bang play on that one. That's an interesting call that's going against UCSD.
And it's Seekins again. Already 2 quick penalties for Seekins in the opening 6.5 minutes.
But there's without a doubt WSU's playing a whole different style today than they did yesterday. They were trying to match speed with Utah, and this time they're kind of slowing it down.
As we're on the 4v4 for about 20 more seconds here, and then Wazoo will be on the power play. Brought back in by the Tritons. As he swings it around into the boards. And Wazoo clears it away. Picked up by Landers. Here, makes a quick move. Saved out in front. Rister sent just wide. That was by Woodard. And UCSD is able to clear. Quick change while Wazoo begins to probe as they begin their power play with just over a minute left in that penalty by Seekins. Pad save again by Alex Chen. Landers picks it up right from the circle. Again, saved by Chen.
Chen's having a strong performance right now for UCSD. On that one stop by Landers, Landers did a nice job of cutting in, and he did a little flip on his back end to catch Chen off guard because he was moving right to left, and Chen blocked that really well, and that was a difficult shot that Landers put on him.
And Chen showing off his versatility. If I remember correctly, he was playing as a winger yesterday for the Tritons.
I'm with you when he kept saying his name. No, he was playing out front yesterday, so it's got to be the same person.
So impressive stuff. Versatile, all hands on deck for the Tritons with Dietra unavailable tonight.
Well, again, yesterday I was very impressed with the Tritons for just how many players they brought up, how many practices they had, how many games they had. They played strong yesterday, and WSU cannot overlook these guys.
Absolutely. And I feel like UCSD is relishing this opportunity of just being able to get out on the ice, right?
Yeah.
So trying to take advantage. They've been doing a lot of early morning skates just so that they can get some ice time, because that's been the issue with them that we talked about yesterday with some
and it could
ice
be why they
issues.
changed their style today from yesterday against the Eagles. They might be trying something different to see how it would work.
And when you when this is only your third game, you still have so much time to continue to tinker and mess with stuff until you find something that clicks. As Wazoo picks it up, and everyone's now back to full strength. Just a little over 11 minutes remaining in the opening period, and it's still scoreless between the Washington State Cougars and the University of California, San Diego Tritons. As UCSD brings it in by Davis. Alexi had 2 goals last night. He had a solid outing. Right now it is Lullier who gives chase as Wazoo brings it in. Glove hand there, saved by Chen.
I'll tell you, had a solid game for UCSD yesterday is Emma, and I can't read the last name.
Lullier, yeah, Emma Lullier.
She played really well yesterday for me. She's got some spunk, and she is not afraid of anybody because she went after a couple of Eagles players, and she had no hesitation whatsoever. I was very impressed with her.
And she was very solid on the faceoffs, too.
Yeah.
As UCSD brings it back in. Opportunity to send just wide. That was by Jake Hull. And Seekins is able to keep it in. And that is sent high.
Seekins played a good game yesterday.
Yeah, and he has been all over the ice already today. Now, they had both teams had a lot of players that were showing off their ability yesterday, because we hadn't seen either of these teams yet. So it was something really nice to see.
And Gerke's another kid for the Tritons that had a solid game yesterday, and he's picking up where he left off.
As Chen covers it up.
Right now, this game, and I don't know, Blaine, if you're seeing it also, but they're kind of still filling each other out. They're trying to get which way do we want to go. So I'm wondering if this first period is they're just trying to make it a wash and then make their adjustments in between periods, because they're both kind of playing in a shell in a way and not taking any unnecessary risks.
I agree. A lot of probing by both teams, still trying to figure each other's style out. And no one wants to make that critical mistake yet early on, as we're roughly just about halfway through the period. So I agree with what you're seeing, Gary, for sure.
I figured the Cougars would come out and try to use their speed, and they're definitely playing more defense today.
That's 2 saves there by Warranta right up front. And here comes Landers back the other way. Great stick there by Andrew Chua. I thought Landers had a one-on-one there with Chen, so great opportunity there as it's sent back down. It won't be no icing as it's sent on goal.
Well, that's part of Landers' speed. If you notice that he kind of set up both Triton players, then he blew by both of them and got a little too close to the net, and he got a poke check on him. But that was that just demonstrated his speed again.
As UCSD dumps it back in, and Wazoo gives chase as he's beginning to probe. Good check there as Landers picks up the puck. Shot just sent aside by Warranta. I know we were expecting maybe seeing the 2 goal contenders that we raved about yesterday, but these 2 guys are playing pretty impressive stuff early on for both teams.
They're playing really well. Yeah, and that's what makes it interesting. If you haven't seen a team before, you're really not sure how deep they are in net, but so far both clubs have good goaltenders.
And that's the opportunity that a showcase like this presents, that you are able to show exactly how it says, showcase other players and be able to give them opportunities that to everyone else, and see that we haven't seen, like with Chen and Warranta in net, as we have a penalty coming here. Looks like it's going to be on UCSD.
Looks like an interference call is going to happen on this one. I think that's what the referee's calling. But you're right. It's interesting because I don't know if we would have got to see either.
No, it's going to be a Cougar penalty here.
Either the Tritons or Utah this year if they weren't here for the showcase. So that's why it was very interesting to me to look at some of these teams I haven't seen before.
And you were right. It was an interference call on Logan Gents as he enters for 2 minutes. 7.5 minutes roughly remaining in the opening period. And we're scoreless as UCSD is on the power play. And
I think they said it was a hand pass.
Yep. Good call. Good eye, Gary. I missed that one.
Well, they went right on the near boards, and they're in the Triton's end, so that's why I was guessing on that one play, and I just got it right. I'm not gonna lie.
Sent back in as UCSD picks it up in their defensive zone, regrouping with Chua as they begin their attack in the neutral zone. Seekins picks it up and brings it in as Seekins begins to probe. Switches it across. Blocked there. The Tritons send it around to the back. Send out in front. Back up. Great centering pass there. Good pad save by Warranta. He was absolutely shielded there. Didn't see that till the very last second.
That's one thing UCSD is doing. They're plopping a guy right in front and trying to block some of the vision of the netminder for the Cougs.
And that's also a new adjustment that they made, because that was something that we did not see in that matchup yesterday against Eastern.
Strong clubs will do that. You look at the really good hockey teams, and they constantly do that style. Utah did it all the time last night, and it worked for them.
Opportunity there as a shorthanded opportunity gets saved by Chen, as that was Gold who had a one-on-one opportunity. Big hit there by Gold, and that's going to be a penalty. You could see that one coming with that check.
That might have been a little frustration on Gold's part because he thought he had that open shot on it, and I think he got angry with himself on that one. And I think he took it out on the
frustration, yeah. As now it's going to be a 5-on-3 for roughly 20 seconds, and then for the Tritons. Huge opportunity here for them to potentially strike first.
This is major for them, actually, if they can get in a goal on this power play.
They swing back around. Chua, one-timer. Pad save by Warranta once again. Chua picks it up. Scores! Rister beats Warranta on the glove side, and UCSD capitalizes on the 5-on-3 opportunity.
That was an outstanding shot by Choa. But again, they put a little screen out in front also. Then that helped too because the netminder couldn't pick it up right away. But that was a well-designed play by UCSD. And they still have the power play.
Yep, minute 43 remaining on the Gold penalty. And UCSD, Chua gets his second of the showcase in consecutive nights, and he's the first goal scorer for the Tritons on consecutive nights.
Yeah, he hustles out there. He's 100% constantly out there.
As Chua picks it up and starts the offense once again. Good poke check there by Dakota Doro as the Cougars send it back down. Little over 5 minutes to go in the opening period as the Tritons lead 1-0 on a Andrew Chua opener.
Chua's deceptively quick also, and I think that bodes well for his style of play.
Pad save there by Warranta. And shots are relatively even. Wazoo up 12-10 in that statistic, but we're seeing UCSD apply some pressure, especially on these last couple power plays. As they come back in again, opportunity in front, sent just wide. That was by Alexi Davis. And Seekins brings it back. Shot from the blue line. Stick save right there by Warranta.
Seekins is not afraid to shoot that puck anywhere on the ice. He has a lot of confidence in his shot.
And that's one thing that's like when you see, even though they didn't play each other last night, but if they watched any of the film from last night's games and seeing a new netminer out there, that you want to really test his ability and see if there's anything that you can exploit.
Yeah, you want to go high, low on the new netminer, see which way is he got a good glove, got a good blocker side. So, yeah, you take advantage of it, and then you get a feel. And I think that's kind of this whole first period is just a filling out process for both.
That's a good poke check there as Wazoo brings it back in as they're back to full strength, and they get a line change in. As Doro brings it in for the Cougars. As they're and UCSD clears, sends it out to Lulier, and she dumps it in. Warranta sends it around the boards. Potential 4-on-2 opportunity here with Landers leading the way, and he scores. Beats Chen 5-hole. Landers, it's the third attempt right there that Landers has used that little move. Third time's the charm as he converts.
Actually, what Landers did really well on that. He was actually getting dogged by the Trident player pretty well, but he turned on that extra burner and he ended up using the D-man as a screen. And so that was a heads-up play by him. Really smart hockey player Landers is.
And that is Landers, also his second goal of the showcase. And likewise with Chua, he has scored the first goal for the Cougars both nights.
Well, there's no doubt one adjustment I can see the Tritons making, and they probably will, is Landers. They're going to have to make sure they know where he is all the time and try to stop him before he gets to burst of speed, because he's dangerous.
And right now they haven't had an answer for him. As soon as he gets going, he's gotten around them every single time so far.
Yeah, and that's why I'm thinking an adjustment will happen in between periods, because they haven't really seen WSU from my knowledge, and so they're not aware of him, but they sure are now.
And which adjustment would you try to make?
Well, it depends on how they want to play their defense, but
as they score there out in front. That is Nolan Koziel finishes the goal for the Cougars as they score 2 quickly in succession as they take a 2-1 lead.
I'm trying to pick up the Cougars number right now, but that whole play was set up by number 5, and I'm trying to find his name on the score sheet.
You sure it wasn't Landers 15?
It might have been 15.
I know Landers was out there.
That's who set it all up. He's the one that really made the hustle play and got it behind the net. But to answer your question, you may have to go 1 in a box and just make sure you have one player on top of Landers at all time, and you got to make sure it's your quick player because of his Landers' speed. That's one way you can try to slow him down.
As the Tritons try to regroup here, as they took an early lead, but with the Cougars 2 quick goals to take a 2-1 lead. And the Cougars come back in. Rister saved by Chen as he sticks it aside. And loose net. We just have about 1:45 remaining in the opening frame.
And I see one thing, the Cougars are adjusting now. They're opening up the game more, so they're starting to use their speed. I think they've decided that, okay, they're going to try that route. And so far it's worked on them because they put some relentless pressure on the Tritons. And I was wondering when WSU was going to do that, because they have some quick players on their team, and they were playing more of a defensive style, but now they're opening things up.
And I feel like that's more of a sense that both teams have kind of started to feel their way finally into the game, trying to understanding what's been successful, what's not working, and as they continue to think, and that'll be something that both coaches will be paramount about in this intermission.
Well, they basically had 19 minutes to figure out, okay, how do we want to play?
A save there by Chen, and we're going to have a penalty.
Nice blocker save on that. Real nice save by Chen.
As who's heading into the box for the Tritons? It looks like it's going to be... It's Chua. Chua's heading in. So Washington State will finish the period on the power play with just over a minute and change in the opening period.
But you got to tip your hat to Ranta. He's made some tough stops. The Tritons have peppered him quite a bit in the first 10 minutes, and he's done a nice job of standing up to it.
Hope it's going to be a 4-on-4, actually.
It's a mutual disagreement down there.
As Logan Gents enters the box once again today. So 4v4 for the last minute and 12. Quick wrister saved by Chen.
Well, I'm not sure which player said something, but they both squared off with each other pretty quickly. So somebody said some unpleasantry to each other.
As Gold swings it around. Wrister sent wide. Gold picks it back up. Seekins gives chase. Beats Wazoo to the puck. Great centering pass. Last second poke check there by number 12. That was Nolan Koziel, who has one of the goals tonight. And Warrant is able to cover.
But you just saw how quick Sika is. He took off from the red line and just blew past the D-man from the Cougs.
He hit another gear.
Yep.
So here we go on the face-off, won by the Cougars. as they send it into neutral ice. Tritons win it there. Potential 2v1 opportunity. Great stick there. I believe that was Woodard. And that'll be an icing. Gary, overall thoughts in the opening period with just about 30 seconds remaining?
It's actually been quite entertaining on how both teams started the game. They kind of mirrored each other, and now you're seeing WSU open it up a little bit more. But now you're looking at the Tritons, and they're starting to open up their game a little bit more too. So I think the feeling out is over.
Right.
We'll see the true sense of both clubs second period.
As Wazoo brings it back in. Woodard's shot deflected there. And missed opportunity by Brody Roach, as he was calling for that puck early on. Just wasn't seen. And that'll do it in the opening period in this one. Washington State Cougars 2, UCSD Tritons 1. Welcome back to the Eastern Washington University Recreation Center as the second period will get underway with the Washington State Cougars 2 and the UC San Diego Tritons 1. We're going to be starting with a little bit of a 4v4 with the penalties from the end of the first period carrying over with Logan Gents and Andrew Chua in the box. Gary, we saw both teams start to really try and find their rhythm towards the end of that first period. What do you want to see here?
Well, I think both teams will make an adjustment. I think WSU will expand their speed that they were starting to do in the last couple minutes, and the Tritons starting to open up too. So it'll be interesting. They try to mirror each other again, opening the game up, because like in the first period, it was all defensive. Now it'll be interesting if they both go offensive minded.
As UCSD brings it in, Seekins, who's been all over the ice so far tonight, picks it up. Centering pass picked off by Landers as Seekins picks it right back off of Landers. These two, nice little mini matchup here. Big hit there at near center ice. Centering pass there, shot sent just high by Wismuller. And the Cougars come the other way, led by Landers. Centering pass, blocked there, and the Woodard finishes off the rebound.
The Cougars on that one, they just flooded the net on that one. They ended up the 3-on-1. Initially, the save was made by Ranta, but the rebound came out right on a Cougar stick, and he buried it. And I didn't see the number who got it, but the Cougars did a nice job of just attacking. And 3-on-1, you have a good shot of getting that puck in the net.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick Woodard finished it off. But I honestly thought there Landers little kind of decided to look for the pass when I thought he was going to just rip one like he did last night.
And Landers actually, again, he set that up like he did in the second goal for the Cougars. And that's where the Tritons became shorthanded, and it was a 3-on-1 because everybody went to him because he's so close to the netminder on that one. Nice heads-up play by Landers.
As Chua brings it in for the Tritons. And it feels like this is at the same stage as last night for the Tritons. It almost feels like a little bit of a danger zone area, falling back down now by 2, and this was something that they couldn't respond against the Eagles yesterday. That's what I want to see, an instant response now by the Tritons.
This is definitely a crucial point in the game for them. And you're right, that's what hurt them yesterday against the Eagles. They fell down, came back, but then they exerted so much energy. I think that hurt them in the long run.
As the Tritons pick it off, send it down. Picked up by the Cougars. Catch them on a change. Opportunity here. And the opportunity goes begging as Chen stick checks it away. Looks like it's going to be an icing.
It's an interesting. I'm surprised the coaching staff from UCSD, they started to make a fuss out of it, and they did correct the call because it wasn't an icing. The one linesman waved it off. The other one that called it didn't see the UCSD player that went in.
Yeah, because it looked like Wismuller was clearly there in time.
Yeah, that was nice that the officials recognized that they got together and they corrected it. So kudos to them for that.
As Wismuller picks it up, brings it in for the Tritons. Looks for a little lovely deke there. Chua picks it up, sends it just wide. Shot there by Wismuller, and then saved again by Warranta.
Warranta did a nice glove hand save on that one. But I think you're right. This is a very critical junction for UCSD. And I think if they can get a goal here, or at least don't go down another goal, that'll help them. But
that'll be one thing that we will be interesting to see, because especially fatigue started to play a role about midway in the second period. So hopefully they have some energy still left in the tank.
And that was a heavy hitting game against the Eagles yesterday. So they got to watch how they can conserve their energy, and falling down 4-1 is not a good way.
As the Tritons try to bring it back into the zone, Chua leads the way. Rister sent, pad save by Waranta. And the Cougars clear, led by Landers. Landers brings it in. Saved there by Chen. I think that's the 4th or 5th time that Landers has made that same move, has tucked his shoulder to get around on the outside and is able to get right on in front of Chen.
Yeah, and Chen's getting wise to that move also. He's starting to see Landers come in, and he knows he's going to try to cut in front of him. So nice heads up play by him.
As Seekin picks it up and brings it in for the Tritons. Opportunity here, saved by Waranta. Seekins once again just hit another gear there to get right past the Cougar defense.
Very deceptive on how quick he is. But if you notice, both teams now, they're experimenting with their shots. They've been going high and they've been going low. I think they're trying to fill each goalie out to figure out where their weakness is. I've noticed both squads have been doing that. Shots are not going in the same place that the other one was, which is smart. That's the best way to find out where a goalie may be weak.
And they're switching their angles, their attack points. You're right. Really spot on there. Just under 16 minutes remaining in the second period as it's 3-1 Cougars. As Waranta makes a pad save. Another pad save there. Poke check there by the Cougars as Seekins picks it up and neutral ice and resets for the Tritons.
Waranta's definitely on top of his game today because he's made some nice blocker saves.
Tritons pick it up behind their own net. Long pass there. Wismuller just happens to fall down. It looked like he had an opportunity there if they could have found him.
Sometimes that blue line's a little bit higher off the ice, and you don't pay attention to it. You can trip over it.
Caught him by surprise. As that was an icing, and we're back down in the Cougar zone. Tritons win the face-off there as they send it around the boards. And it's picked up. 2-on-1 here. Centering pass to Wismuller. Just misses him. And that was Dakota Doro with a nice little check there to pin the puck down in the boards there. Chua brings it out. Slap shot from the blue line. Deflected just wide. But you can see from the Tritons that, especially Seekins and Chua, they are not gun shy whatsoever.
No, and both of them have rocket shots. And they're, again, like I said in the first period, they're not afraid to shoot it wherever they have to, as evident on that last shot over there. It looks like the Tritons are trying to work more with their defensemen now. They're trying to push it back to them and giving them an open shot, and that's an interesting adjustment that they made, I've noticed in this period. They're really feeding their D-men.
As Lulier picks it up there.
I like her game. She is feisty.
And Ewan's able to keep it in for the Cougars. Sent back around. But you're right. You can definitely see the Tritons interchanging positions, though, as well. Lulier was more of a center. Now she's on the wing tonight, it looks like, for the most part.
And that's a good strategy. That'll fool a team quite a bit if they're not used to watching that shift.
As Landers and Lulier battle. As the two leaders of both squads get into it a little bit, and Andrew Chua and Jake Landers there.
Yeah, they were going at it pretty hard. I was waiting to see Emma go in there and attack it because she does like contact.
Right. And it looks like Landers is going to be the one that goes to take a seat.
There's a golden opportunity for UCSD now to get right back in this game.
Oh, Chua decides to join him.
Disregard that last
Disregard that.
I think
It's gonna
Chua
be
was
a
trying to
4v4.
pull a quick one on there.
He pulled a quick one on us for sure.
Well, they were both battling pretty hard, so I wasn't surprised that they were going to be a penalty. But then when he went back to his bench, it's like, well, maybe they're only calling one.
Oh, so here we go. 4v4 opportunity. And this is where both teams have been pretty successful so far on these first couple of nights.
Well, they don't shy away from the open ice, either team, so that's nice to see.
As Chen makes the save there. Just a little over 13 and a half minutes remaining in the second period. Washington State Cougars 3, UCSD Tritons 1. Face-off one there by the Cougars. It's been able to keep in by Woodard as he dumps it in. As the Cougars start to probe. That's Tucker Spind is the one bringing it around. Woodard picks it up. Woodard sends it, flashes just wide. Wrister, pad save by Chen. That was Roach with the wrister from the outside, but closer to the blue line. Roach calls for it again as he flashes it in front, blocked by the Tritons, and they clear.
Roach did a nice job of trying to do a pass shot on that one. He saw his teammate on the far post, and he almost got it through. And nice hits that play by him.
And Roach hasn't been shy tonight, calling for the puck when he wants it. We've seen that multiple times now tonight. As Seekins picks it up for the Tritons. One move right past, and as he starts to glide down the ice once again. Backhand stop by there, shot stop by Warranta.
Roach did a nice job of riding him off, so that's really the only shot he had was a backhand.
Cut off that angle for him.
Totally.
As that one's flashed just in front of net.
Which makes it real easy for the goaltender to realize, okay, he's got that route, so I just have to worry about the shot.
As that's going to be offsides. Just about 20 seconds remaining on this 4v4. And both teams have had multiple opportunities in this with the open ice. Face-off won by the Cougars as they bring it in. As Koziel that brings it around. Centering pass deflected there as Doro was out in front.
Doro's another kid that hustles quite a bit. I picked him up yesterday. He's nonstop.
And that's the one thing that sometimes is what coaches just love to see is the motor, because you see the rest of the players feed off of each other when you got one guy that's laying it all out there.
Yeah, he does not slow down one bit.
As Doro's in there right now fighting for the puck in front of Chen's net. As both teams go back to full strength. Lander sends it around. Shot there. A little bit of friendly fire as it hits Doro there. Landers with a lovely couple moves, picked off as Chua dumps it in for the Tritons.
Chua did a nice job of trying to pass off the boards to himself. He got by one Cougar, but he couldn't get by the second guy.
Change there as Tucker Spind looked like an opportunity and just couldn't handle the puck. No icing there as it's dumped in by the Tritons as they try to get a quick change. Opportunity here out in front. Chen dives out to challenge.
I thought Chen was going to get caught there for a minute. He delayed on coming out to do a poke check, and that was a heck of a race.
Just got there just in the nick of time. But you were right. It seemed like the opportunity had gone, and it felt like it was going to be an empty net for the Cougars to finish.
Yeah, he definitely hesitated a bit, but he recovered really well and got the puck poked away.
halfway through the second period as it's 3-1 Cougars as Spin gives chase, picks it up behind the Tritons net. It's sent up ahead, picked up Lulier as she brings it in. Solid, and that's going to be offsides. A little bit of a late shot there by Woodard.
Yeah, well, it was a tad bit. He's having a little conversation with one of the linesmen about that. It's been an entertaining game, though, from start to right now, the way it is. Right, they're just each one's doing a little bit of an adjustment. The other team's counteracting, and so they're nullifying any kind of changing that they're trying to do right now. And kudos to the coaches for that.
As the Tritons pick it up in their zone as they send it around the boards. Good poke check there as it's flashed out in front by the Cougars. Sent away here back into the neutral's ice. One thing that I'm starting to see, Gary, is that both teams are starting to look for that longer pass, that longer transition to potentially set themselves up, catching both teams on a change potentially to get a one-on-one opportunity.
Yeah, they're definitely both going to the stretch pass game right now, and it'll be interesting to see who breaks through first.
As the Cougars come in 2v2 here, dumped in as Chen sticks it around. So what is the benefit there of trying to take a gamble with the stretch pass? Because it feels like it's sometimes a line of fire type thing. Because if that pass isn't getting through, you're potentially creating an opportunity going the other way.
What it does is it widens the ice. It loosens the other team up if they know that the club's going to start doing some long passes, and so they can go back to a short game if they had to. But the biggest benefit, it opens the ice up more, spreads everybody out. And usually you'll see it when a team's in their own end and they try to kick it up to the neutral zone. Right now, the Cougars are doing it from their blue line past the blue line of the Tritons. So that's an interesting style.
As the Tritons flash it out in front, just couldn't find it just in the nick of time. Chua from the outside, saved by Warranta.
That kid has a rocket. I mean, he just barely was inside that blue line and it took off. And Warranta did a nice job of tracking that because there was a Triton player in the middle of the slot that could have swayed his vision a little bit. I think the Utah squad just arrived, getting ready to play the Eagles in the second game of this PAC8 showcase.
Yep, it does look like the Utah Utes have arrived. And that puck drop will be just around 7:50, in between 7:50 and 7:30 approximately after this one. As Washington State passes around the boards, Gold gives chase and sent back in as the Tritons bring it in. I'll deflect it out with a missed pass there. And Chua grabs it. Pass along the boards. Picked up as Davis brings it in. Looking for that return pass. Miscommunication there. Long stretch pass ahead. As Spin brings it in. Landers saved by Chen. Spin picks up the rebound though and finishes.
Spin did a nice job of going in. He didn't give up on the play. Landers, again, his rocket shot. And I don't think Chen wanted to give up that rebound, and it came right back out to the Cougs, and he buried it in the top shelf. Nice play by WSU.
It seemed to have caught Chen by surprise that he spilt that one too.
Yeah, but I think what he really was trying to do was smother the rebound, and it did, and went off of his glove, and it went right onto the Cougars' stick.
As Gold brings it back in, Landers picks it up. Rister from the outside. Saved by Chen once again.
That was almost identical on that. Landers' shot. It's real difficult for a goaltender with somebody that has that kind of shot not to give up a long rebound, and that's what happened both times right there. Landers has such a unbelievably hard shot. It's hard to control it.
And the wrists are so quick off of his stick that sometimes it catches you by surprise, especially like last night's wrister. It was past the Utah goalie before he even was able to get his arm up.
Well, that's what makes him so dangerous, because not only is the slap shot wicked, his wrist shot just as wicked. And even his backhand, when we saw it in the first period, has a hellacious backhand also. So the kid can shoot the puck.
Just over 6 minutes remaining here in the second period. Cougars 4, Tritons 1. Gary, put me in the mindset of the Tritons here. You're now down 3, starting to be a little bit reminiscent of last night. How do you guys regroup, especially when you're a team that's shorthanded a little bit and then haven't had the time to really have some practice time on the ice?
Well, that's the difficult part. They're a little bit shorthanded because they're going to have to take some gambles now. They're going to have to definitely open it up. And being shorthanded takes a lot of energy out of you. So they're at a disadvantage right now, but they are going to have to start taking some chances.
Let's try and bring it in here.
They're kind of looking a little weary right now. And that, again, when you're shorthanded and you start playing two tough games, that'll wear on you.
Stick saves there.
There's going to be a penalty, I think, against the Cougars, which will help the Tritons out here.
Yep.
But, yeah, they're going to have to. UCSD, they're going to have to say, okay, we're going to have to open it up a little bit and see what we can do. And that means usually they'll pinch in a defenseman a little bit further down. And why not? If you look at it, it's 4-1 right now. You really don't have anything to lose by taking a few gambles for the rest of this period, especially since they're going on the power play.
And that is the penalties on Woodard for Washington State. And this is a huge opportunity to potentially give the Tritons a potential lifeline going into that third period.
Yeah, they're going to have to try to soften up the Cougars somehow, and that's usually when you start gambling and pinching down your D.
Swings it around. Seekins picks it up. Slap shot. Blocked. Great block there by Gold laying out.
See, as talented as Sika is, he'd be one I'd see pushing him down right in the middle of the slot because he's still not out of position. He's so fast. He'll get back, and he's real offensive minded, but he's one I could see them trying to sneak in, especially at the top of the slot.
I feel like you could also do that with Chua as well. With
no
most of their
question.
Speeds, that you could just
no question about it.
Primary defenseman there that they can.
But the way Sika plays, he plays like an offensive-minded defenseman, but he's really, really talented on the back end.
And because of his speed, it's almost a one-man transition because of how he's going down.
Yeah, I was just watching him right there, and when he shot it behind the net, he did slide into the top of the slot. So I expect to see him do more of that.
As Seekins leads it the other way. Looks for a centering pass. All the way wraps it around. Seekins slides down as the Tritons begin to probe. Saved there by Waranta.
But you're seeing Sika more and more, again, a little bit further down on top of it. And I think if the Tritons pick that up, they could feed him because he would have had a couple wide open shots right there if they would have noticed that. But he's such a heads-up hockey player. Real talented kid. Joe is too. I'm expecting him to take some gambles also.
Just about a little under a minute remaining on the power play here for the Tritons. As Landers grabs it, gives himself a potential shorthanded opportunity. Chua grabs it and clears. Up to Wismuller as he brings it in. Picked up by Roach for the Cougars. And he sends it down. And a very solid penalty kill by the Cougars.
Yeah, you tip your cap to them.
Chua brings it in. Roach grabs it behind the Cougars' net. Finds Landers. Landers, lovely move there. Potential opportunities. The Cougars are at full strength.
And I'm sure you've noticed it, but Lander is so shifty also. That's part of his game. So not only is the kid quick, he's fast, he has a hellacious shot, and he's just an all-around hockey player.
Just about 3 minutes remaining here in the second period. We're starting to see that shot differential start to slowly rise with now the Cougars outshooting the Tritons 30-15.
Well, they're putting more pressure on the Tritons.
Lovely move by Seekins. Oh, just can't find the finishing touch there.
I would have liked to saw because it looked like he was going to the top shelf on that one, and it was kind of open for him.
Dumped in by the Cougars, and Chen covers it up. And that was Jens who dumped that one in on net.
But I think what you're seeing is the shorthandedness on UCSD right now because they've slowed down this second half of this period. I think the fatigue's settling in a little bit.
As the Tritons try to pick it up. And that's the one thing about you're playing 4 games in 4 days when you haven't really been able to only played one game other than that this year.
Yeah, you're not in hockey shape.
You're right.
And there is such thing as being in hockey
Opportunity
shape.
here. Oh, just misses her. Felt like that was an opportunity for Loulier.
Yep.
Stretch pass just goes begging.
But Loulier, she's a gamer. There's no question about it.
Dump back in. No icing. Picked up by Seekins for the Tritons. Looking for that stretch pass. Looking for Wismuller.
But the Cougars did a nice job of that. They realized that's what Seeka was trying to do, and they had both defense and collapse on the Tritons players, and there's no way that pack was going to get through.
Chua picks it up.
Is that a nice spinorama that Chua just did right there? Back, passed it off the boards to himself.
And Chua's wrister goes wide. Blocked there by the Cougars, and here they come. Good stick there by the Tritons. That was Gerke.
Gerke's played well. He played strong yesterday, and he's been playing really well today also for the Cougs.
Davis, lovely move there. Looking for that centering pass. Just can't find it. All right, just under a minute remaining in the second period. Gary, what are those thoughts after seeing now 2 periods of hockey here from this one?
Well, I think WSU's done a nice job of slowing down UCSD. We've got a penalty coming up, so this is another opportunity for the Tritons to go on. So I give credit to the Cougars on that one, and I expect the biggest adjustment in between periods, they're going to have to discuss how they want to open this up and start taking several chances to try to get back in this game. Their style works really well if you're only down by a goal, but down 3, yeah, you're going to have to definitely start taking some liberties and seeing if that will work. Loosen up the Cougars a little bit.
And that is Doro heading into the box for the Cougars. That's deflected out of play. I'm kind of intrigued to see if you're going to – I know Chua and Seekins have definitely been the focal point for the Tritons tonight. Maybe seeing them take on a challenge of going with a couple of longer shifts for them. Maybe even though – have them stretch the game a little bit more and see if they can force the issue.
Well, you can see both those guys are not wearing down, so obviously they are in hockey shape. So, yeah, I could see them staying out more, maybe doing a double shift on a regular basis.
As Seekins brings it in. Great pass out in front. Wismuller just unable to convert there.
So that was an anticipatory play right there. That was a nice job by the Tritons on that one. And they keep doing that, and they went into attack mode on that one. You never know in that third period. We'll see.
Absolutely. As it's 4-1, Washington State. UCSD will be out on the power play to start the third period. Welcome back into the Eastern Washington University Recreation Center as we are entering the final period in our opening matchup of our Friday night doubleheader in the PAC8 Showcase. It is the Washington State Cougars 4 and the UC San Diego Tritons 1. We are experiencing a little bit of difficulties to start this third period. Seekins wins the opening faceoff as the Tritons bring it in on the power play with just a minute and 20 remaining. Landers brings it in, sends it just wide. And Gold keeps it in as the shorthanded Cougars continue play.
Well, I thought that was interesting. Landers decided to take the Triton stick with him also going around the net. So
as it's dumped in, Gold has an opportunity here out in front. And Chen's able to be up for the challenge. And you can see there on that one with that stretch pass, Gold was sitting on that waiting for it to be dumped in.
Yeah. Well, now I'm waiting to see exactly how UCSD decided to take some gambles and open it up for themselves. Down by 3 goals, they have definitely got to say, throw caution out and just go for it and see what they can do in the next 2 minutes.
Especially having that little bit of rest to see if whatever's left in the tank can just go for it.
Yeah, this is the time to try to jump on it. That's why I said the next 2 minutes, because they're fresh off of a break.
Lovely move there by Spind, and he sends it just high.
But right now, you got to give the Cougars credit. They came out on fire.
They've had the better chances, even though they're shorthanded on this penalty here. Wrister sent and gloved by Waranta.
So now that would have been a good time for the Tritons to do a little cutover when the winger was bringing it up on the far side. The centerman should have cut more toward the middle, and he would have had a breakaway on that. So those are the little things that I'm wondering if they're going to make that kind of adjustment, or they just don't have the wind in them anymore.
Well, and being down 3 goals as the Cougars are now back to full strength, you might as well just start testing and tinkering with different things that you have, right? So
yeah, this is the time to do it, especially since you haven't had many practices and games this year. This is the time to try some things that you want to try from the playbook and see if they work.
As the Cougars keep it in their offensive zone. Dumps it back around. Picked up there by Hull as he probes out in front. Shots just sent wide, deflected wide on Landers there. And that was from outside. Ewing sends a wrister, and Landers got out in front, blocked Chen's line of sight. He didn't even see that one. That was past him before he even had anything to see.
Yeah, Ewing got the goal, but basically Landers the one that set that up, because the defenseman for the Tritons, he was trying to move Landers and he couldn't move out of the way, and there's no way he could have saw that puck coming. That was a nice setup by Landers. Good goal by WSU.
2 minutes into the third period as it's now 5-1 Cougars.
And that's why you see a lot of teams plop a guy in front of the net, block their vision of the goalie.
Landers tries to beat Chen top shelf, sends it deflected high and out of play.
Because if you can get somebody big and strong like Landers is, you can tell that the defenseman's going to have trouble moving him. And so that plays into the offensive attack really well, because the goalie can't figure out which way the defense is going to try to push the player.
And that's one thing that we really wanted to see, is that especially Landers has been everywhere tonight.
Yeah.
We just keep saying his name because he's in there where he needs to be every time.
The Chance had an outstanding game, even though they got down 5 goals, but he's played really strong tonight.
And I feel like that's a good sign for the Tritons, because Dietra played out of this world yesterday, and even though the score didn't indicate that. If you watched the game at all, he was outstanding. So it's good to see that the Tritons might have a second option in the net too.
Yeah, they definitely got two good goaltenders.
Looks no icing there as the Cougars pick it up. Stretch pass, spin mishandles it as UCSD dumps it back in. Cougars bring it around, led by Roach. Landers is able to keep it in. A little bit of frenetic play right now out in the neutral zone as Wismuller puts it on Waranta, and he sends it around as Doro picks it up. Wismuller has it out behind, and the Cougars clear. Led by Ewing. Wismuller, opportunity, potential 2-on-1 if he sees it. Opportunity saved there by Waranta. Sabater had a 1v1 with Waranta, and Waranta was up for the challenge there.
Yeah, Waranta did a nice job of staying with that puck. Another thing that could UCSD try to soften up the Cougars a little bit. They may have their centerman go in and dictate where the defense from the Cougars are going to put the play, and then their forwards follow the opposite way and force them to pass the puck toward that. That's another little gamble they can take, but that could soften up WSU also.
Woodard picks it up. Pad save there by Chen. UCSD unable to clear. Chen with the save there. Sent out in front, just in front, and then Chua sends it away. And that's going to be an icing. A little frustration there by UCSD. It looked like they were looking for a cross-check call that they didn't get.
Yeah, I noticed the coaching staff was chirping at the officials on how come they didn't see that.
Face-off won by the Tritons. As Goulier gives trace on Woodard. Landers gets it in the neutral ice. Woodard picks it up. Centering pass is deflected. Chua sends it around the boards. Out in front. As Woodard continues to probe along the boards there. UCSD is able to clear. Picked up. A little bit of a more frenetic pace here in this third period.
Well, I think you're seeing the fatigue set in on UCSD right now because they're chasing the puck rather than playing positional hockey. Now they're more helter-skelter than what they did in the first two periods today.
Playing to Wazoo's hand at this point. As Landers flies around, uses the referee as a shield to get a wrister on target, saved by Chen.
He'll try anything to block just slightly. He'll use anyone out there.
Tritons come back in the other way. Gets out in front. Waranta with a glove save. As that was Hole that takes a spill there. A little bit of theatrics maybe there. As Woodard brings it out for the Cougars. He sends it out. Picked up. UCSD dumps it back into their zone, offensive zone. And here comes Seekins. In and out. Dumps it in. You can see here that UCSD is trying to press in their zone there. Icing is waved off. And the Tritons come back in the other way. One thing that I'm starting to see, even though the Tritons are kind of chasing the puck, they are trying to press a little bit more in that when they dump it into their offensive zone, trying to give it more difficult for Wazoo to get out.
Well, I'm wondering if fatigue isn't setting a little bit for the Cougars also, because they had a heck of a battle yesterday, and they definitely seemed to slow down in this period.
As Waranta's made 2 nice stops there with slap shots from the outside. A little under 13 minutes remaining here in the third period. As we have an offensive face-off for the Tritons. Picked up by Seekins as he probes. Dumps it back in towards Lullier. Roach picks it up with Ewing as they swing it around the boards. Seekins, wrister from the outside. Waranta up for the challenge.
He's a kid that'll shoot anywhere. Also, he reminds me a lot of Landers. On they don't care where they're at. They're gonna shoot the puck wherever they're at.
And they're not missing either. It's always right on the money, and wherever they're intending to put it, it's going there.
Well, when you have shots like theirs, you don't worry about it. You know it's going to be somewhere around that net.
As UCSD picks it up, tries to bring it back in. Picked up there by Wazoo as they bring it back into their zone.
But this game's definitely is becoming more choppy than the first 2 periods. And again, I think both teams may be getting tired.
Landers picks it up. And then we have a penalty here coming.
I think Sika's going to get it for a slash. Well, Landers is bowling over everybody right now.
Woodard picks it up. Looks like we're
going to have 2 penalties.
I think both are on Seekins.
Oh, that could be a possibility. I know there's going to be 2 called here.
It looked like Seekins got away with both of them there. And he is the one that's going into the box.
That's a tough task to do, to get 2 penalties at the same time when you know you're going off on one of them.
I wonder if how they're gonna chalk this up.
I could see him giving.
He definitely did both. How often do you see something like that where you have the same player get a penalty?
It's rare. It's very rare. Usually the play doesn't go on that long. Yep, they gave them both.
Yep, gave them both 4 minutes power play here for the Cougars.
If you're the Tritons, you didn't want to see this happen.
No. Woodard probes up to Landerts there. Looking for a shot. Saved by Chen.
He's deadly from right there at the top of the circle.
Right back to him. Oh, a little friendly fire there. As it's Gold that was the one that gets the block in on Landers' shot.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Gold's real happy about being a friendly fire at the target.
Landers out in front. Scores! Rister beats Chen. As it's now 6-1 Cougars.
You can't let him get in the slot like that. He's going to bury most of those shots right there. And he went up high, and I don't think Chen could see it. There was too much traffic in front of him. Nice shot by Landers. The kid is talented.
Now they're trying to figure out how if Seekins stays in the box after.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets a full reset now after one.
Yeah, he's going to get 2 more. He's not going to get a break off of that one. now is basically if you're UCSD just trying to have this game in without any kind of injury and pick up or come back tomorrow. I give them all the credit in the world. It's going to be a good little hockey club. You give them 2 more months, and they're going to be a pretty decent team.
As Landers picks it up here.
I don't think Landers takes a break either. I think
I swear he
does. Except when he gets a penalty.
Just like how Chua and Seekins, you always see number 15 out there for the Cougars on the ice.
As I said that, there goes Landers taking a quick break.
Gold's shot is blocked.
Yep, there's going to be a penalty on the Cougars, and that's definitely going to be a slash. And I think that it's going to be called on Mr. Hall.
Dumped down, and that'll be an icing. And it will be a slash. So we'll have about 35 seconds of a 4-on-4 here.
You got to give credit to Jake Hall right now. He's trying to skate back to his bench. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, but they knew who that was. Give that kid some credit. He was trying to pull it. A little bit of a
cover up, selling it. That's half the battle, right?
Yep. Well, here's a good opportunity for the Titans to, when they get on the power play, to play around a little bit and see work out some systems that they want to try.
As Chua brings it up, a little foot pass to himself. Wrister, Oranta up to the challenge once again. Lovely little move there by Chua as he little foot pass to himself, sets him up for a nice little wrister at the top of the circle.
He has a real quick release, and that's what helps him also after he makes a move like that.
As his slap shot goes just wide.
But you were talking earlier, Blake, about how they're right around the net on their shots, and on that one, it basically carried off of the net, and that's their shots. Him and Landers are always on top of the goalie.
Big hit there by Davis. Slap shot. Oh, friendly fire as Chua was trying to unleash one. Lulier's wrister goes just wide. As you can see here, the Tritons are trying to make a little bit of a push here on this power play with just a minute remaining. Chua, pad save by Oranta once again. And the Cougars clear.
Well, if you don't block around his vision, he's going to stop 9 out of 10 shots on that one. He's played a stout game tonight for the Cougars.
Trying to let the Cougars coaching staff know, hey, you guys we have 2 great goaltenders ourselves.
Yeah.
And you got to give both these goaltenders kudos because they both had solid nights tonight. I think that's been for these first 3 games, a lot of very good goaltending.
Yes, outstanding goaltending by all 4 squads.
Seekins all the way through, scores! He veered in and out from down by his net, and he just went solo, and he converts with the wrister and beats Oranta there.
But he did a nice job toward the end. He used the defenseman from WSU as a screen, and he just glided to where he could have a quick opening on the top shelf, and nice play by him. There's zero quit in that kid, 0. And he's been on the ice a ton, and he just doesn't seem to ever wear down.
7.5 minutes remaining as UCSD gets back on the board as it's 6-2 now Cougars.
Well, this will give them a little life, so if they can pop the net real quick on this one, that momentum will help them. If you're a UCSD fan, you got a lot to look forward to from this hockey club this season.
And it's interesting to see if they just had a couple more games to see what these guys would really look like up here. While they're just a little bit behind with play-wise in comparison to the other three squads.
Well, that's why I'm saying I would like to see this squad in about another month and a half, 2 months, and just see how much more they grew as a unit.
And I do know that a couple of players didn't make the trip also, so that would something that could also have played a factor too here. As UCSD keeps the pressure on as Washington State sends it around the boards.
Well, that's why I've been impressed with their coaching staff. For as little time that they've had this unit together, they've done a nice job of making them competitive.
Chua picks it up, wrister. Moranta had no idea where that puck went. Able to make the save, though.
So Gary, far, very, very entertaining. I'm sorry, Blake, but so far, very, very entertaining PAC8 showcase so far.
Absolutely, which leads me into my next question with our next matchup that's going to be coming up with the Eastern Eagles and the Utah Utes. What do you want to see in that one?
Well, I really hopefully Eastern will open up their game and utilize their speed and quickness, because Utah, they don't. Utah is very fast, but I think if Eastern can play wide open hockey, they can give them a battle. But it'll be interesting to see what style Eastern comes out and plays.
Chen covers that up. And now I agree with, especially with Utah, what we saw last night. There is only one action, and that is 110% at 100 miles an hour. And attack.
What makes Utah so scary to me is their cycle game. They do it down low, they do it in the top of the slot, and they do it up by the blue line. And Eastern's going to have to corral that. But they have the talent, they have the speed to do that. They just have to play that way tonight.
And for UCSD and Washington State, they'll both be back in action tomorrow night, as Washington State will take on Utah at 4 o'clock. And UCSD will take on Eastern at around 7 o'clock. Be interesting to see how those games factor, as those two matchups yesterday between all four squads were very entertaining. UCSD dumps it back in. Moranta sends it around the boards. Chua picks it up near his blue line, loses it there. Chua picks it up. 3-on-2 opportunity here for the Tritons. Wrister saved by Warranta. As Landers comes back the other way. He's got Gold with him. What a stop by Chen. As UCSD dumps it back in.
That was a sweet move by Gould on that one. Chen was on top of that, but that was a nice play by Gould on that one.
Seek poke checks it off of Landers, and as he dumps it back in. Lovely move there by Spend as he gets it towards the center of goal. Landers picks it up. Tries to find Spin back in the... Woodard from outside. Pad saved. UCSD tries to clear. Out in front. Saved by Chen. That free-flowing hockey is kind of started to get back in, though, after UCSD's got that second goal. A little bit of a momentum swing here.
Well, they're trying to open it up a little bit, but I do think that they're just tired right now. And but hats off to them. This team does not stop. They don't quit at all. I don't think they even look at the scoreboard.
Wazoo keeps it in. Just about 3.5 minutes remaining here in this one. Out in front, Chen covers it up. But it looks like Wazoo is starting to tinker a little bit with it. They're starting to do a little bit of a circle motion also.
They are, and I think what one big difference I noticed with WSU tonight, they're playing more of a control game than what they did yesterday. They were pretty helter-skelter yesterday, which they had to be against Utah State, and they're definitely more controlled at a steady pace tonight.
As Wazoo has it in neutral ice and resets.
But I find it interesting this whole game, neither team took advantage of the neutral ice. They left that wide open, and that really helped WSU out a lot because they could build off of their speed off of that.
All right, the neutral ice was a little bit more helter-skelter, and looks like we have a Wazoo penalty.
Like a cross-check there.
It's going to be Brody Roach heading into the box. UCSD will be back on the power play with just under 3 minutes remaining. As it'll be Spin versus Davis here in the face-off. Spin wins it. Davis gives chase on the loose puck. Blocked there by Doro. And Wazoo clears. All right, you're right. I feel like that neutral ice really favored Wazoo with how there wasn't that much play there. Wazoo was looking either for their speed to build when they're entering the zone or that stretch pass.
Well, that helps them a lot if they're not getting challenged in the neutral zone. That just frees up so that by the time they get to the red line, they're at full speed. That's one thing that teams that play WSU, they're going to have to clog that up a little bit and slow them down.
Seekins has it. Shot was blocked there as he tried to play it back in. CSD keeps it down in the corner. Seekins has it. Chua comes out. Seekins takes it off of Chua. Seekins once again, and that one's blocked. Chua with a slap shot. Waranta with the save. Back out to Chua. Slap shot again. Waranta with another save. And Wazoo clears. Just under a minute on the power play. Chua with a couple of good looks there.
Sika and Chua both have rocks of a slap shot. And when they unload on that one, it's hard for a goaltender to block if he can't see it.
Gold picks off the pass. Keeps it down in the zone. Sends it around. Landers has it. UCSD comes away with it. Woodard with the check there. UCSD's, however, able to keep it in.
Well, it's interesting that the Cougars are going to the physicality right now, and there's only 50 seconds left in the game, but they're banging on people.
Just under 40 seconds to play in this one. As the Cougars get back out to full strength and UCSD dumps it back in. Cougars play it up the boards. Tritons keep it in. 3-on-1 chance to break. It's Landers looking for Gold. Gold can't find it. And UCSD clears. And that'll do it in Game 3 of the PAC8 Showcase with your final Washington State Cougars 6, the University of California San Diego Tritons 2. Gary, you'll be on the call for the next one with the Eastern Eagles and the Utah Utes.
And Tyler Pisani, the dog trainer, will be back on the call for this one coming off of the
Stay tuned.